Welcome to the Non-For-Profit Showcase, where we highlight the great work and accomplishments of nonprofits. I am your host, Rashana Baldwin. Our first guest is the Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health, Inc. We have the founder, Don Doty, here today, and he's going to tell us more about the organization. Welcome to the show, Don.
No, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So let's get right into it. Tell me about all the great work that you do with your organization about health and health screenings.
Well, we deal with health disparity within communities of color. We try to educate our people of color on health issues that basically negatively affect them in terms of breast cancer, obesity, nutrition, diet, physical therapy, physical fitness. And we try to educate them from a standpoint of eating different, living different, changing their habits. And we try to test them and create awareness in the community so they become aware of their resources that are available to them.
How long have you been doing this great work?
Well, I'm from Los Angeles. Harold Washington, you're too young to know, but this guy named W. Clement Stone, he was one of the wealthiest Republicans in the state of Illinois. He had a program called PMA, Positive Mental Attitude. And back home, my mother, Georgia Doty, set up the first welfare to work allied health trade school. And so our job was to take women off of welfare during that time. And we did such an excellent job, and we got a $2 million grant. $2 million back in the early 80s was a lot of money for a black family.
Absolutely.
And so it made 60 Minutes. And your mayor, Harold Washington, and this Clement Stone, after my mother died, invited me to come duplicate the school in Chicago. And the school we set up here was called Center for Employment Training. We started it on Holman and Arthington in the old Sears building. West Side, and then we moved over to Lake Street. So for 25 years, we took off about 3,500 individuals on welfare in Chicago.
Wow.
And we taught them areas of allied health. We had pharmaceutical technicians. We had medical billing, respiratory therapy, pulmonary functions, technical health. We had pulmonary functions, and we had other lab kinds of work there that they provide them skills and upward mobility in terms of allied health.
So this is citywide. We can use your services citywide.
The school ended about 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
So the school ended 3 years ago.
Yeah, when your Governor Rauner came in and cut my funding,
okay.
Yes, it ended. I was the first minority at United Healthcare in marketing, and I realized then that I had hepatitis C. From the air gun in Vietnam, when we all went to Vietnam.
You're a vet.
I'm a vet, Marine Corps.
Thank you for serving our country.
Yeah, and so when I got hepatitis, I wanted to go out and educate others about this issue. And we got federal funding, and so the nonprofit became a whole new lifestyle, new chapter in my life to continue trying to provide these services to others.
It's absolutely needed in our communities, especially communities of color. So how receptive have Chicagoans been? Have you saved lives? Have you transformed lives?
It's hard to dictate how many lives you saved. We can go by how many lives we educated, yes. how many lives we tested.
How many would you say
Chicago?
Today?
Chicago? About 15,000.
That's a great. Yeah, that's great.
Been doing. We do seminars, we do conferences, we do community outreach programs. We have a national newsletter. And then here at CAN TV, we're on every Tuesday night at 7:30 here on CAN TV. So we've had a lot of vehicles to provide that kind of exposure to create a lot of awareness.
So the seminars, are you going into schools, hospitals, organizations, churches?
We work basically with the faith-based community.
Absolutely.
And we do a lot with the churches and within the churches. We work within the health department, the health agencies, and the general public.
So the current organization is the Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health, Inc.
Yeah, it's not easier. Our last name was Georgia Doty HIV Hepatitis Community Outreach. I would forget that sometime. So Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health kind of puts everything together for me. Yeah.
So it's pretty much everything related to health and educating individuals on being healthy, screenings, testings. And what are some of your events that you do yearly?
Well, yearly we do the obesity nutrition, and we try to pick up 300 women that are receiving, and men who are receiving link cards. they are not really educated on how to shop and how to use that link card. They misuse that link card. They don't know the importance of vegetables and fruits to be able to.
Why is that?
Lack of education. That's where education comes in at. Then we do our annual domestic violence, which is a mental health issue that we've dealt with. And we've been very successful in holding it at the Kroc Center on a yearly basis. And then we do our veterans program, being a vet. And we try to educate the vets on the benefits and the resources that are available to them. Basically, we focus on the homeless veterans and try to bring them back into the system, try to provide them housing and testing and screening, and educate them on the benefits that they may have available to them back into the system. And then we put on various programs dealing with HIV, hepatitis on an ongoing basis.
Do you feel that you have a large body of support from the faith-based communities?
We've had major support from overall the faith-based, the corporate, here in Chicago. We've had a lot of support. We've reached a lot of people, and I have a beautiful staff that have really kind of come together, and as Rochester and other people have volunteered for the last 15 years with me. So I've kept the same crew for a long period of time.
To say that you educated and screened over 15,000 people, that's amazing.
Well, a lot of time we subcontract agencies that do the testing and the screening for us, so that we don't have to have the lack of the certified technicians required to be registered as phlebotomists and testers. So
in the communities that you serve, do you see any changes? Do you see more individuals caring more about their health now?
They're caring more about their health, but the major issue that I find in Chicago now is PTSD, mental health. I think because of the urban violence and the killing and the drama here in Chicago, many people are dealing with PTSD and don't realize they're dealing with it, but they're dealing with a lot of mental health issues. And because of the cutback in mental health funding in the state of Illinois, it's more prevalent that you see this undetected. When I first became marketing director, I did a research on Chicago housing, the projects. And many of those buildings were made, had a lot of lead in the paint and in the building itself. And the lead led to a lot of problems in terms of learning and education in those that lived in it at that period of time. And lead has been a very serious issue in the housing authority.
Don, Doty, I want to thank you so much. Before we go, how can individuals get in contact with you, contribute, support you? What is the best way?
To go to our website and see our history is www.georgiadotyinc.org.
Thank you so much. You guys tuned in to the Nonprofit Showcase. We'll be right back.
We have two big needs. First of all, of course, is physical health, but also spiritual health. And that's exactly what this organization is doing. It has been doing for so many years, and I'm happy to be a part of it, and I hope to remain a part of it. And I'm very proud of Don for having stuck with it, because he's had a lot of challenges, but he's managed to keep himself together.
There's no greater work one can do than to promote good health and health care. I don't care how wealthy you are. I don't care how accomplished you are. I don't care how much money you got. If you are sick, you're not in good shape. I commend Don Doty for doing it. And Don has been the main educator in the state of Illinois, pushing the issue of hepatitis and the issue of HIV and AIDS, and has helped to educate thousands and thousands and thousands of people so that they know how to better protect themselves.
Don is a pillar of the community. I have worked in Congress to support your efforts. I have spent my career in Congress working to serve the communities I represent and to protect the least among us. I look forward to continuing that work.
Welcome to the Non-For-Profit Showcase, where we highlight the great work and accomplishments of non-for-profits. I'm your host, Roshana Baldwin. Our next organization is Sisters Working It Out. We have the CEO, Beulah Brent, and board member Nadine Willis here today, and they're going to tell us more about their organization. Welcome, Nadine and Beulah.
Thank you.
So tell us about Sisters Working It Out, about the mission, and how did that name come about?
Well, actually, we started in 2001. It was founded by Dr. Monica Peak, who was a young doctor who worked at Rush Presbyterian Hospital. And at that time, I was the manager at Stroger Hospital. So we was doing research on the disparity in the African American community. So we actually started working within the community, especially on the west side at that time, and working with other communities, especially African Americans and other minority women. We decided to form an organization, and we came up with the name Sisters Working It Out, mainly because we was working in all the other communities and working with underserved women in the community.
I absolutely love that name. That's how you get people's attention and educate them. So Nadine, tell us, how are you guys educating women on breast cancer?
Well, we primarily work with a lot of organizations in the Chicagoland area. We attend a lot of health fairs. We go into churches and any organization that's open to having us come in to talk to the women in their congregations or in their organizations. We also focus on the family. We want men and the sons and daughters to understand what's going on relative to their wives or their mom's health, so they can encourage them to get their mammograms and to get their checkups to make sure that they remain healthy for their families.
How do you remove the stigma and the negativity associated with breast cancer of those who may be fearful of wanting to even get screened? Well,
as a person who has survived breast cancer, I call myself a more than conqueror through Christ Jesus.
Say that again?
A more than conqueror.
A more than conqueror.
Through
I love
Christ
that.
Jesus. So anyway, what I'm able to do is first explain to people that just because you've been diagnosed with breast cancer doesn't mean that's a death sentence. What's really important is to get treatment, to follow the regimen or whatever the care or whatever the doctors recommend. You can look at that. And so I decided to have the radical mastectomy of the right breast, and that was really because Beulah brought the mammogram bust to church that I found out that there was an issue. So we've been rolling together ever since.
So wait a minute, because of her bringing the mammogram bust to church, you found out?
Yes.
Wow.
So so after I went through everything, through the chemo, through the radiation, through having my breast removed and lymphedema, losing the hair and all of that, I started to work with Beulah, and my husband was really grateful for her and what the organization was doing. Actually, he was probably more gung-ho about me working with you, with him himself working with you and being an advocate than I was at that time. But I saw the vision. I saw both of you. Because what you're trying to do when you're going through it, you're really trying to get through it as quickly as possible.
Right.
You're not trying to linger. You really want this over with as soon as possible.
What type of support and services do you provide to the women who come to the organization for your assistance?
So we actually recently started a support group, actually located at Miles Square Health Center at 640 in Inglewood.
Okay.
So we found out there were some issues in Inglewood because what we look at is the high disparity rate in those communities, and actually Inglewood is second in line to Roseland. So we are trying to find target areas where women actually need our help. So we are in that neighborhood, giving them support on what it is that they should be doing. So if we actually go to the hospital with them.
Wow.
So if they need our assistance, one of the things we say that we do believe in going and listening to our doctors, but what we tell women all the time is you're your best advocate.
Yes.
So sometimes, you know, doctors are human just like we are. So you have to sometimes insist on making sure that the doctor hear what you have to say about your health. So we figure the more you know, the better you'll do. So we navigate the women through the system. We work with the University right now of Illinois in Chicago, where we actually help women get free mammograms.
Wow.
So
I was just about to ask that individuals may not have, you know, health care. So you help to facilitate them getting it for free.
We do.
The mammogram testing.
So we do. We help get the mammogram free at the University of Illinois. We also have a relationship with Access Community Health Network, where if a woman don't have insurance or she doesn't have a PCP, which is a physician, we actually navigate them through the system to hook them up with a doctor that they can call their own.
And what age should individuals start getting screened?
So right now the guidelines, according to the American Cancer Society, is age 40. But as we know, young women, 40 and younger, especially African American women, they're in the category of developing breast cancer earlier than their counterparts. So more often than white women. So basically, we go by the guideline, but one of the things you want to look at is a breast history.
Right.
Wanted to make sure that there's no family history of breast cancer.
Yes.
So if there, then it's always 10 years prior to when mom or auntie has been diagnosed with breast cancer.
And with all this great research and all this great support that you are offering, what else are you guys doing throughout the year?
So we usually do a lot of health fairs. We just actually had our Day of Beauty. So what we do is actually do a Day of Beauty for all cancer survivors.
That's
and at that Day of Beauty, we actually give out free wigs. They have to be new wigs. So we give them makeup, haircuts. Everything to them is free. We give out raffles. So
and a lunch, beautiful luncheon.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you guys have an annual gala, tell me more about that. And when is that?
That's normally in September.
Okay.
And it's one of our major fundraisers, so everyone gets dressed up. And typically what we do is we showcase some women or even men who have been diagnosed with breast cancer, and they come to our organization, and that evening we have them speak. And all of our supporters are there basically to, we thank them, and then we encourage them to continue to give to us so we can continue to do the work that we do. As a not-for-profit organization, we do rely on donations from benevolent individuals. And so we're always looking for ways for
people to get involved.
Yeah.
People volunteer with you.
Speaking
and work
of which,
and support.
yes.
Definitely looking for volunteers. Basically, this organization is 100% volunteer. So what we do out of love that we have for women and the love that we have for our community. So, you know, if you know anybody who would love to volunteer, they can always reach out to us and find out what it is that they want to do or they'd like to do. So volunteers are always welcome.
And they will go to your website.
They will go to our website at www.sistersworkingitout.org.
I love that name. You told me earlier that you guys do this fun fundraiser, bowling.
Yes, we bowl. I went for the first time in April, and it was a lot of fun. And it's a major fundraiser that we have, And we invite our supporters, any survivors, and just people who are interested in helping our cause out. It's just a great night. We basically take over a bowling alley, and we just have a night of fun.
And that's usually in what month?
That's in April.
So it's the fourth Saturday of each year in April, and it's at the in Tinley Park, Centennial Lane in Tinley Park.
So 17 years in the business, are you guys looking to hope to be the first ones to discover the cure to breast cancer?
Absolutely.
That's a thought.
I always tell them we're going to be the next Susan G. Komen.
I want to thank you guys so much. Sisters Working It Out, one more time, how can individuals get in contact with you to donate or support? So they can go to our website at www.sistersworkingitout.org, or they can call us at 312-572-3053. Thank you so much, ladies. Keep up the good work. Thank you. You've been watching the Nonprofit Showcase. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sheila Harmon. I am a board member with Sisters Working It Out, and we just want to thank you for coming out and helping us celebrate Day of Beauty. We celebrated survivors. We were able to give them manicures. They got their hair done, their makeup done. They got great information, and so we are excited about another day to celebrate our survivors.
Hi, my name is Vera Carr. I'm a cancer survivor, 2 breast cancers, and this has been such a wonderful event.
I love this event. I love to see the women come out and just the things that we have here to add beauty. It does such uplift to a woman's spirit when she feels beautiful.
I thank God for using these ladies that with gifted hands and just gave me a new look, and I just feel like a brand new woman.
It's just an absolutely awesome place to come. There are plenty of resources here for the ladies if they're having problems with health care, if they want information about their cancer, or just any type of feedback from other survivors. This is a place that I would definitely recommend for next year.
My name is Shavante Tucker. I came to Sisters Working It Out because, one, everybody needs a little bit of fitness in their life. It's hard to kind of incorporate fitness, the right eating, and just bring your life together as a whole. So today I was very excited to help out the sisters here, and I just wanted to show them like fitness should be a part of everybody's life.
Hello, I'm Sharon Vaughn, and I'm also a board member with Sisters Working It Out. And to God be the glory for the things He has done. So many survivors came out, manicures, pedicures, testimony, powerful survivor stories, because God is good and all the time.
Hello, I'm Ronisha Prakwinkle. I'm at the Sisters Working It Out Day of Beauty event. I think it is absolutely fabulous. I've learned so much. I've met so many different women. I love the way they have so many events for the women, whether it's getting their hair done, getting their makeup done, or just learning detailed information from different vendors. It's been fabulous, and I can't wait to come back for next year.
Just having a great time today celebrating women of color. We rarely get recognized. Love that we're spotlighting survivors of cancer, but all are welcome. This is just a day of collaborating and showing love and expressing love and just enjoying life.
First of all, I want to say thank God for what it is that He's doing for us. I thank everybody for being here today. I think it was really incredible. This is just the beginning of us moving forward. So God is good. We had an amazing time, and I hope everybody enjoyed what they got here today. So thank you so much for everyone that supported us, and we are so blessed to have you as a part of our team. God bless you.
Welcome to the Non-for-Profit Showcase, where we highlight the great work and accomplishments of nonprofits. I am your host, Roshana Baldwin, and our next organization is Girls Like Me Project. We have the CEO and founder, Lakeisha Gray-Sewell, here today, and she's going to tell us more about the organization. Welcome to the show, Lakeisha.
Thank you for having me.
So, you are doing all things good in the neighborhood, good in Inglewood. Tell us about Girls Like Me Project.
Well, Girls Like Me Project is an organization I started in 2012 after years of volunteering in my son's classroom and noticing that the girls in the classroom were mimicking this bad girl behavior that they've been seeing in reality TV and so on and so forth. And so we started doing these ladies' luncheons, and it just grew into something that was demanding a lot of my time. And so I went and started an actual organization, and it really just helps them to understand media literacy, to break down the negative media messages that are targeted to them, that normalize violence, normalizes violence, poverty, and that just have them pitted against each other. And so we train them media literacy and also how to do their own digital storytelling. So they learn how to be global influencers by just sharing their stories through podcasting, blogs, video, things of that nature.
So you teaching them how to be the author of their own narrative, pretty much.
To navigate girlhood on their own terms and to share their own stories so that it's not influenced by what the media tells them that they can be or should be.
What ages are you working with, and are you inside the school?
Yeah, so we work with girls as early as 10, and we're seeing now that we need to go even earlier. But right now it's 10 to 18 years old. We have partnerships with local schools, Donahue Charter School as well as Carter G. Woodson Charter School, both University of Chicago charter schools. And then we also do our larger programming, which is open to everyone. And we have a summer program that is also open. You can go to any school and just come for the whole summer.
And is there a cap on how many girls that you take? Are you trying to save the entire Chicago? So, I mean, it's a lot. So how, is it a cap?
So the good thing is that we are not the only organization.
Okay.
There's so many different organizations service girls in different areas. Us, for media literacy, our summer programs, we take up to 20 girls per session. Even when we're in schools, we take up to 20 girls. However, our events, which are free, we don't have a limit. So our Chicago Day of the Girls, which we just celebrated the 7th year, we get anywhere up to 300 girls to attend that event in one day.
And what does that look like? What do you guys do on that day?
So it's a local celebration of International Day of the Girl, which the UN had established. And so what we do is we expose girls to global sisterhood. It's a day of advocacy for them, a day of education for them, and it's also a day for them to understand that the issues they face in Chicago are identical to the issues that girls are facing in Sri Lanka or Ghana or Nigeria. So whether it be education disparity, if it's gender violence, all of those things that we see on an international face, our girls are facing right here in Chicago.
Absolutely. So thank you for joining us. How can our viewers get in contact with you, donate, volunteer? Girls Like Me.
Our organization is Girls Like Me Project.org. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well.
Thank you, Lakeisha, for doing such great work. We'll be right back. I'm your host, Rashonda Baldwin of the Nonprofit Showcase. Follow us on all social medias, Nonprofit Showcase, and check your local listings for our next airing time.